Digging deeper, President Trump's closest congressional allies, Congressman Mark Meadows of North Carolina and Jim Jordan of Ohio, say that a 4-hour-long interview with a former FBI official confirms that the FBI was biased against the Trump administration throughout the Russia probe. The lawmakers calling the testimony the, quote, most informative interview they've seen in the investigation. Joining us now is former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer, America First Action PAC senior advisor and spokesperson, and the author of The Briefing. Sean, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, Maria. How are you?
So the FBI investigation now in the hands of senators and the Judicial Committee anyway. We're waiting to find out what it says. What are your thoughts on what has taken place around Brett Kavanaugh and Christine Ford?
Well, I think the FBI's done what they were asked to do. They were given a week to go out and follow some of these leads and corroborate or substantiate the testimony that either one of those individuals made. And I think now senators will have an opportunity to read it and either give them the reassurances they need to vote for Kavanaugh or cast doubt. But I believe that in the end, Kavanaugh is going to be confirmed. And so hopefully, knowing this town and how everything leaks, I haven't seen anything. You know that if there was something bad coming, it would somehow make its way out into the news. And we haven't heard it. I think that's a good sign.
Sean, hey, go ahead.
Sorry, Pete. Sean, it's Mike Murphy. You know, your assessment on this, I agree with. I think that the people in this country were kind of torn apart by this whole process. And the fact that we've now gone down the route that it seemed everybody wanted to go. So we had the FBI look into this. We're going to get the report and we're going to vote. It seems like it should be a pretty simple process. Do you see it playing out that way, or is there another shoe to drop or more to come?
Well, I think in terms of the process, you're right. I mean, look, there's two propositions here that I think we've lost sight of. Number one is the advice and consent role that the Senate's supposed to play with nominees. And I think when it comes to Kavanaugh and his qualifications, there's no question he's a qualified judge. Elections have consequences. This president won the election. Therefore, he gets to choose his cabinet, his nominees to the various parts of the executive branch and the judicial. I think if you look at Republican history, generally speaking, we've approved Obama nominees for the most part. And that should be the same. It shouldn't be a question of whether you like them or not or whether they're partisan. That's why we have elections. The second issue is whether or not there are substantial allegations of impropriety, wrongdoing, or illegal and inappropriate behavior. That's what the FBI set out to address. And I think if it's substantiated, that's a problem. But if it's not, then you go on the qualifications of somebody like Kavanaugh that's eminently qualified and confirm them.
Sean, it's in about a month we go to the ballot box again for the midterms. There was concern on the Republican side that enthusiasm was down, but we've seen polls just in the last day that show in key states Republican enthusiasm has rebounded in substantial ways. Did Democrats overplay their hand with the silliness and the circus that unfolded around Kavanaugh?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I think they did. You talk about that enthusiasm. One of the polls that I saw a month ago suggested that Democrats had up to a 10-point lead in enthusiasm. They were fired up to get out to the polls and to vote, motivated, sharing that with their colleagues and friends, telling them we got to go out and vote for change. I think this Kavanaugh confirmation hearing has really galvanized the right now as well. There is an understanding that may not have existed a month before as to the importance of this election, why it's so crucial to keep a Republican Senate and a Republican House. Part of the reason America First is out there supporting the president's policies and agenda is so that people understand that binary choice that exists this November. If you want to keep the president's policies in place and keep the economy moving forward, keep these kind of nominees moving forward, we must have a Republican Senate and a Republican House. Yep. Plain and simple.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely has revitalized. And in fact, Kevin McCarthy joined me Sunday and said things have changed drastically. I was skeptical about the House losing the majority, but we'll see what happens, because it definitely got even worse now.